Before that though, Angelina Jolie and Christina Ricci have both admitted to doing this in the past. The UK has the highest rates of it in Europe. Well, to mark Self-Injury Awareness Day, we're talking about self-harming this morning. 70-year-old Sarah Costello started cutting herself when she was only 13. Since then, she's kept a very honest account of it in her diary, which she has agreed to share with us today.
I did it this morning twice, and I was right. I'm sat here nearly crying. Almost 8 weeks I'm not cutting wasted. I feel so numb. Why did I go so long and then ruin it? Why did I bother? Before I started in the first place, I never relied on it to get through the week. But I do now. I can't stop. I don't know how to.
Well, Sarah is here now, along with Marjorie Wallace from mental health charity SANE. Very good to see both of you, and particularly you, Sarah, because it's a very brave thing for you to do, to talk about this, because I guess part of it is the whole secrecy thing. You know, you do it in secret, you don't tell anybody. You were telling your diary, but you weren't telling anyone else.
Yeah, it's just so much easier to not tell anyone and be thought of as a freak, or, you know, be forced to go out and get some kind of help when you don't really want it.
And also you probably think you're the only person in the world this is happening to, because people don't really talk about it, do they?
No, not really. There's just so many people that just do it in secret, and you don't really realise how many people there actually are.
No, there's a lot, there's an awful lot, and there certainly is. For you, it all started because you had a rough time at school, didn't you? Bullied at school.
Yeah, I was bullied from year 7 till year 10.
And when you first started doing it, can you remember what was going on in your mind and why you would be doing this to yourself? Did you just feel, I just wondered, when you did this, because I know you cut yourself, when you actually did that, did you feel better afterwards? Or I just wonder how you felt in your own mind.
Yeah, so much better. It's just such, like you can't get a release any other way, right. So you have to kind of substitute the mental pain for physical. I see what you mean. So you're going through all of this and there's no other way of kind of dealing with it, and that's what you're thinking. So I suppose it's taking your mind off that in a way. Yeah, I guess, because it's a physical pain if you're cutting yourself. How did you manage to get out of this and manage to get help? Counselling. Yeah,
but how did you get that in the first place? Did you get so desperate that you really needed to see someone?
Yeah, my mum read my diary, so she sent me. She went to the doctor who referred me.
Right, and your mum must have been very worried about you.
Yeah,
very concerned, obviously, of course she was. Do you still see someone? Do you still need help just now, or how are you?
Yeah, I still see a counsellor.
That's a good idea. It's a very, very good idea. And by telling us about your diary, and I know you've set up a website as well, you must have been, I suppose in a way, got some sort of consolation from the fact that there are so many other young people out there that are doing this.
Oh yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's really comforting to know that maybe my website's providing the same hope as other websites provided me.
That's really good. I do salute you. I think it's fantastic, not only that you're here talking about it, but that you're actually helping other people. Because the thing is, when anybody goes there, they know that you've been through it as well. You've been there, you know what it's like, to feel so bad, and that's very important, isn't it, Marjorie? It really is.
Yes, I mean, I think Sarah's incredibly brave to talk about, and what she's not really saying so much, because I know she's really quite shy, is just how desperate people are before they cut themselves. And as one person told us, you know, I have to cut myself as I have to breathe. I can't go on breathing.
Really?
Unless I cut myself, and that relief of seeing the blood. And we've noticed over the years, I mean, we get literally hundreds, of course, Sarah's not alone, that is the sadness. We believe there's an epidemic of people harming themselves at the moment. I mean, it's increased enormously, and young men as well. And also far more brutal ways, much more extreme self-harm, because it's addictive. That's the problem, is that you get this sort of rush of relief when you see the blood, or you slash yourself, or you burn yourself, and you get the relief, but then that's temporary, and then you have to do it even worse, and so it becomes a cycle of addiction, and then people can't break that cycle of addiction. Now, we try and get them to telephone us at SANE.
Yes.
Because we've got quite a lot of successful stories where people, as they build up, this awful mental pressure builds up, we say, well, ring us before you feel there's no other way out, no other way of coping, and try and release some of the tensions anonymously if they want to on the telephone. And in fact, we have people 365 days a year who are taking these calls, and quite often we do succeed in stopping people doing it. Sometimes we don't. But actually, the worst part of it all is how little's been done to help people. I mean, Sarah's actually quite lucky that she found counsellors.
Yes, managed to get some.
She had a mother who didn't react with a kind of slightly appalled thing, saying, I either think it's all part of teenage angst or sort of slightly blaming, thinking, well, you know, what have I done wrong? What are you doing wrong? Right. There's a sort of bit of blame there because of the lack of education about it. So, and then she had counselling, and of course there's a dearth of counsellors. I mean, we must get more counsellors available, particularly for young people.
Well, if you're saying this is an epidemic and this is only a tip of the iceberg, we've absolutely got to make sure that we do. 1 in 10,
Lorraine, 1 in 10 teenagers are harming themselves.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I mean, that's a terrifying thing.
Is.
And we in Europe are the country with the greatest number of people recorded to be self-harming. And our accident and emergency wards are filled with people harming themselves. And yet, half of the 170,000 people harming themselves go away, are sent home, and nobody follows them up. And quite often, we have had awful stories of them being refused even anaesthetic for their stitches because it's their fault.
Right,
somehow they're kind of blamed, or they're left at the bottom of the queue.
It's really, it is absolutely scary. It really is. And again, as we've always said, we're not very good in this country. We're getting a wee bit better, thanks to people like yourself. We're not very good at sort of, you know, addressing any kind of mental health problem and talking about it, which is why what you're doing is so terrific. It really is. Are you feeling okay now? Do you feel strong now? Do you feel all right?
Definitely.
You do. You really do. Good for you. Great to see you. Thank you for all the work that you do. And obviously, if you do have any problems, maybe somebody you know is affected by self-harming, for goodness sake, talk to them about it or get them to call SANE. There's the helpline, 0845 767 8000. You can find that number along with lots and lots of information on the website gm.tv. You can do that. Thank you both very much indeed. I'm sure this is something that we will revisit because it's quite terrifying actually how prevalent it is. Thank you both.